Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you have your comfy yoga clothes on and a comfortable space to move your body. We'll just let people join here for one more minute. But this is the first of our Nourish series this month, and it's really fun to be back doing it and offering this to you. I think all of us are craving just a little bit more nourishment. And our teacher today is just an incredible human, someone I've known for a long time, and just a really incredible yoga teacher. So you're in for a real treat. Before I turn it over to her, just a reminder that if you have any questions along the way, just type those into the chat, and I will do my best to kind of pop in and ask Melissa if there's anything there's questions about. But she has pretty much become an expert teaching on Zoom over the last few years because she has students all over the country. And in order to give her the most time, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking, so I'll just give her a short introduction and then let her take it away. And at the end, if it feels right, I'll just let her end it. Otherwise, I'll just jump on for a quick goodbye. So Melissa and I met, I don't know, a decade plus ago in Ayurveda school, and she's just an incredible healer and has been on her own journey teaching yoga well before that. She's also has her master's in counseling psychology. She does a lot of one-on-one work with clients. She has her Ayurvedic degree, massage therapy, and really, I think, just is an incredible yoga teacher and sought after for seminars and workshops and yoga teacher trainings and one-on-one yoga with individuals, just because she's so great at it. So I'll let her just take it away, and you'll get to experience that with her. And like I said, any questions you have along the way, please type those into the chat. We'll do our best to address them. And again, thank you so much for joining today. My sincere wish is that this just be nourishing for you, just a little bit of a treat in your day that you can use to help take care of yourself better. Okay, this is Melissa Spamer, and I will let her get started.
Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for taking some time for yourself today. I do want to recommend that you have a couple of things for your practice today. So one thing that could be helpful, there are things you have around your home. If you don't have formal yoga props, is you might want to have a throw pillow, as I do here, just from your couch or your bed. You can also use a blanket. But I would like for you to have a blanket that you can use for your practice. And, I've folded it in a kind of square. So if you could do the same, folding it in half and then folding it in half again. So you've got about this 10-inch width or so with a fold. So if you need to go and grab a blanket, that's fine. There's one more prop to have, and that is some kind of belt, strap, or tie. You can literally use a belt that you would wear around your waist. A robe tie, a terry cloth robe tie, works really well. A scarf works okay if you don't have a yoga belt available to you. So you might want to just take a moment to gather those things if they're not already nearby. Or set yourself up with a pillow for your head or another blanket or a folded blanket done for your pelvis. And we're actually going to begin our class today. The theme is autumn and nourishment. And so we're going to begin reclined to ground and to focus first and foremost on our breath and breathing as the key, the gateway to that deeper self-nourishment. So I know some of you are maybe just coming around with those things that you need. Once you have that blanket folded, the fold of the blanket is facing the top end of the mat. You'll have your pillow or second blanket to the top end of the mat as well. You're going to sit on that folded blanket, have your belt strap or tie nearby so you can easily reach it from a reclined position. And then you'll turn to your side and lie down on your back with a blanket underneath your pelvis, and you want to feel that the fold of the blanket is matching up with the top rim of your pelvis. So if you feel the lower spine, you could slide your hand under. It is off the ground. You're supporting your lumbar curve there. And then you'll relax your arms, your shoulders, and place your hands to your abdomen. So this is a very neutral position for the shoulders to be in. It's called Constructive Rest Pose. Just a very apt name, constructively resting. So we'll place the hands to the belly, shoulders relaxing down into the mat. Knees are bent and feet are to ground. And the reason we do that is to relax our psoas muscle and the hip flexor group of muscles. So when we're stressed or when we're overwhelmed or we're working too much or we're not getting a lot of sleep, when we feel those states of activation in our nervous system, usually there's a tightening in the hip flexors, the psoas muscle in particular. It readies us for action in that fight or flee response, as well as the pelvic floor. So as you're sitting here, lying here with the knees bent, it helps to encourage relaxation through that muscle group. And it gives your brain the message that you can be in a state of rest and digest and repair. So that's the setup for a recline meditation. Once you're there and you're feeling comfortable, you're not too cold, you're not too hot, then you'll either close your eyes or just cast your gaze downward at no particular thing if you prefer to keep your eyes open. And we're going to start with diaphragmatic breathing. So one of the best skills we have in managing our stress levels, in becoming present in the moment, and for integrating the nervous system is by way of our breath. So as you inhale with your hands to your belly, you want to feel the abdomen expand up against your hands. And then you pause at the top of that inhale, and as you exhale, you feel the belly deflate and relax back down towards the floor. And you'll just continue doing that, inhaling really to the lower portion of your lungs so the diaphragm muscle presses downward. The diaphragm is a mushroom-like shaped muscle underneath your lungs and above your organs. And as you inhale, that diaphragm muscle spreads out and the belly lifts and expands. And as you exhale, the air flows out and that diaphragm muscle comes back in and up, creating more of that dome-like shape. And so let's continue to focus on those slow, deep diaphragmatic breaths. Inhaling, belly rises. Exhaling, belly recedes. Now, once you get a sense of that rhythm, the next stage or step of it is to slow your breath down and lengthen your breath. So often in the practice of yoga, we use counting or rhythm. There are different pranayama practices for that, or breathing practices. So here you might inhale to the count of 5 or 6, really stretching the lungs. You might keep inhaling to the upper lungs, even though the belly's full. And then the exhalation, you're extending the exhalation. So you're not just letting the breath kind of pour out, you're slowly exhaling, like you're exhaling through a straw, until you feel that last piece of the abdomen come down and in. And then inhale again. So we're going to do this for about 5 to 7 more cycles. And when we're, again, stressed, sometimes it's hard to do this, right? Sometimes we need to move our body a little more. So there's going to be different tools and techniques today for that. Well, just for now, see if you can begin to quiet the mind, placing all of your attention on the breath, relaxing the pelvis, feeling the lungs and the belly fill like a balloon with air, and then slowly and consciously, deliberately deflating with your guidance and control. So we're attempting to initiate more of a parasympathetic response in the nervous system. And you might then envision a beautiful image of autumn, the fall. Maybe it's the turning colors of the leaves, the crisp, cool, clear air. Something, maybe the changing quality of light in your home or that you notice around you. Some aspect of the season that reflects beauty, brings a sense of calm or inspiration. There's an unknown quote I wanted to bring to start our practice today. It just says that autumn shows us how beautiful it can be to let go. The season of autumn shows us how beautiful it can be to let go. And so part of the first aspect of the practice is this aspect of stretching and opening and releasing and letting go, getting some energy moving, blood flowing, breath flowing, and by way of that, connection to yourself and your body. So on your next exhalation, you're going to lift your feet off the ground and you're going to hug your knees into your chest. So when we're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, I know the holidays are coming up here. When we get real busy in our schedule, sometimes the simplest practices can be the most nourishing or reparative. So just allowing hopefully some value around the simple postures we're going to begin with today. This slow, deep diaphragmatic breath. As you're hugging your knees, thighs in, your hands could be underneath the knees or at the shin bones, tops of knees, whatever feels better for your knee joints. And you are letting your tailbone curl up, so that blanket fold is still there, and it's giving you a little more stretch in the lower back by doing this. We'll stay for one more full breath, just hugging the knees, thighs straight in. And then you'll place the hands to the tops of the knees. And on your inhalation, you're going to keep your hands to your knees, but you're going to move your knees, thighs away so your arms straighten and your knees point up to the sky. And then as you exhale, you're hugging your knees, thighs in. And as you inhale, you move the knees, thighs away. And you'll continue to do that a few more times. This is called Uttanasana. So it's said to actually support the downward and outward flow of energy in the body. And when we're in the autumn season, it's a very dry, it's a rough season in those Ayurvedic qualities. And generally it can create an ungrounded sense of feeling. It stimulates the air element in the body. So this is working the opposite quality of instead of moving up and out, we're moving down and in, and then eventually downward and outward. So in this last cycle or last round, you're going to hug the knees, thighs in. This is a really simple, wonderful movement to do if there's dullness or achiness in the lower back. Then you're going to bring your arms and hands down alongside of you, palms down. So another part of the autumn season is it's cool. So things are cooling. We're moving from summer to autumn. So we want to generate a little bit of warmth in the body. So from here, we're going to do a little bit of core work here to generate that heat in the belly. You're going to point your toes away from you towards the floor, and you're going to move your knees, thighs down and just lightly tap the toes down on the mat. And then you're going to bring the knees, thighs back in. So hopefully you can feel that working in the lower abdominals. You'll do about 5 to 7 more rounds of that, just lightly tapping the toes down and then lifting the knees, thighs back in. Let's keep going. Exhaling as you lower and touch down. Inhaling as you lift. Remember, you're not using your arms or hands. The hip flexors are now working. You're getting blood flow to the pelvis and to the lower abdominals. Just remembering when there's any lower back issue or aching, toning the core, strengthening the core, and developing awareness of the core of the body is essential for helping that issue. Last round or so here. Hopefully you feel a little bit more warmth there in the pelvis. Good. And then the next time you hug the knees, thighs in, you're going to use your hands to hug in for the last breath or two here. And then you'll bring the feet to the ground. So warming and grounding are another part of the theme of the class today. You're going to bring your feet to the mat and you're going to lift your hips and slide the blanket out from underneath you. So just slide it off to the side. We will be using it again and again. And then let your arms open out to the sides. Palms can be up and drop your knees right and left. So Ayurveda is the sister science of yoga, and we look at the Ayurvedic anatomy or approach to directing energy in the body, but also that affects the qualities of the mind. So you're working with that which is circulating, so moving blood, that which is bringing our awareness down and into the body, as well as generating some heat or warmth in the center of the body. So the next time that you lift your knees back up to center, pause. You're going to hug your right knee thigh into the chest and you're going to straighten your left leg out on the mat. So and as you straighten your left leg out on the mat, you do want to push out through the ball of your foot. So the left leg is active and the front of your left thigh is pressing downward. And as you hug the right knee thigh in, you're going to begin to rotate your right foot and ankle. So another thing that I often teach in the fall season is a lot of joint mobility work because our joints start to get stiff and achy with the cold weather. So we're going to do some joint rotation today. You're going to go the other way now after a few rounds in one direction. You really want to reach through your heel, move through your toes, and you want to think about moving through oil rather than moving through air, so you're moving slowly. And then as you relax your foot and ankle, we're going to do some hip rotations, and that's going to require just placing your hands lightly on your right knee, and you're circling your right knee a few times one way and a few times the other way. So we're starting out our practice today slow, hopefully nourishing with deep full breaths, some joint mobility work, and some easy stretches for the legs and hips. And then we're going to come up and do a little bit more standing work. Now on your exhalation, you'll hug your right knee thigh back in. And you'll bring your right foot to the floor. You're going to hug your left knee thigh in now, and you're going to straighten your right leg down the length of the mat. You can push out through the ball of the foot. You're firming the front of your right thigh to press the leg into the mat. You don't have to overwork here, but you also don't want the right leg totally relaxed. You want to be separating the thighs. So the right thigh is moving down towards the bottom end of the mat, and the left thigh is hugging in. We're going to start with the ankle. So you're going to begin to rotate your left ankle now several times in one direction. And we think about the 26 bones in each foot and all those little joints. That's why we want to move like we're moving through oil or honey, something that slows our movements down. Reverse the direction now, pushing out through the ball of the foot, moving through your toes, reaching through your heel. You might curl the toes, spread the toes, really explore what you can feel there, all the way up to the lower leg and below the knee. Then you'll relax the foot and ankle. You'll place the hands lightly to the left knee to guide the knee to circle in the hip. You're rotating from that left hip joint several times in one direction, getting blood flow to the hip joint, nourishing the bursa, the sac of fluid there, and then go the other way, changing the direction of that hip rotation. Good. And then as you come back to center, you're going to hug that left knee thigh in. Then you'll bring your left foot to the floor. Your arms are going to come down alongside of you, palms down. You're now going to flex your right foot and really reach to the heel. So you want to think about stretching through the whole length of the back of the leg. And then you're going to lift the right leg up to the sky. You're going to look at your right foot and then point out through your toes. So you're working the ankle, and this is also working the knee joint, the front and back of the lower leg. Now lower the leg down slowly. Flex the foot as the heel touches the mat. Reach the heel, firm the front of your right thigh, and lift the right leg up. Then push out through the ball of the foot, point your toes, and slowly lower down. So we're still toning the lower abdominals, the hip flexors, the front thigh. Flex the foot, lift up. You want to lift to the height where you feel a gentle stretch the back of the leg. Point and slowly lower. Let's do two more. Reach the heel, lift the leg slowly. You could go back to that 5-count inhale, 5-count exhale to really synchronize the movement with the rhythm of your breath by way of focusing the mind. So we're bringing forward that state of yoga, which is to unite the body, the mind, and the breath. A very simple way of defining it. Now on the next inhalation, you'll flex your foot, you'll lift the leg, you're going to reach for your belt strap or tie, and you're going to place the belt around your foot. You can hold high on the belt, or you could hold low on the belt with your upper arms and elbows on the mat. So choosing the position that works best for your hands and shoulders. And then you're going to maintain here, reaching the right heel to the sky, spreading your 5 right toes. And there's a little bit of action in that right big toe mound, pressing it upward. So there's not only the stretch in the back of the leg that you hopefully are feeling at the back of your thigh and behind your knee, but there's also a feeling of lengthening the leg up to the ceiling through the long bones of the leg. At the same time, while you're pulling down on the belt, there's a feeling of grounding in that right hip joint. So you want to feel the right hip anchor down and into the hip socket. And we're going to stay here for 3 or 4 more breaths. So on your inhalation, imagine, sense, or feel the breath traveling into a particular area of the body that has the most sensation. So I call this directional breathing. And you can close the eyes if that's helpful. You notice, where are you feeling the sensation of stretch the most? Upper, middle, lower thigh, behind the knee and the calf. And then you can sense, feel, or envision the breath that you receive in traveling directly to that point or place and softening that area, unbinding it, allowing the tension to be free. And then it's your exhalation. You're going to slide the belt off the foot, point out through the toes, and lower the right leg down. Then you'll bend the right knee and hug both knees to chest. Notice the difference between your right and left leg. Then you'll bring your feet to the ground again, arms by your side, palms down. Straighten your left leg out on the mat, flex the foot. Reach through the heel, so you want to feel that length through the back of the leg from the back pelvis. Then slowly lift the leg up. Again, you might take 5 counts till you feel that stretch to the back of the leg. Then you're going to point out through the toes, working the ankle, lower leg, knee, and slowly lower, again, about 5 counts. So part of the fall season from the yogic and Ayurvedic perspective is slowing down, right? You're going to flex the foot and lift up. So when we're moving in our practice, we start to slow down our movements. But we're still trying to cultivate more of the earth and water elements to counterbalance the air element, which is dry and rough, which is part of the season. The leaves are turning, the trees are shedding their leaves, and winter is starting to be coming in the air, right? You can smell it in the air sometimes on an autumn morning. So we want to have the opposite quality of autumn. The qualities of autumn are, really air primarily, and we want to do the opposite of that, which is water and earth. Now you should be reaching about the 5th round of your leg lifts. So as you get to that 6th time you lift the leg up, you're going to reach for your belt and place the belt around your foot. You can hold high or low on the belt again, remembering whatever feels better for your hands, neck, shoulders. 2 opposing actions here. One is that feeling of reaching up through the long bones of the leg. So there's a feeling of ascension through the leg to get length. And then the second is, as you're pulling down on the belt, you want to feel grounding action in the head of your femur bone, your thigh bone, right into the hip socket. And by doing so, you also hopefully feel some width and grounding through the back of your pelvis as you hold here. And then again, returning to those slow diaphragmatic breaths that you started with in the practice, inhaling to lower lungs, feeling the belly lift, inhaling to middle lungs, rib cage expands, and upper lungs, you might even feel the collarbones expand. And then the exhalation from upper lungs, lower lungs, belly. And you may notice, as we did on the other side, as you're breathing in that way, a particular area, point, or place that's tender, more so than others. So it could be the calf or behind the knee or somewhere along the back of the thigh and the hamstring muscles. And so as you inhale, sense, feel, imagine the breath traveling right into that area to soften, to relax, to let go. So part of the yoga asana practice is learning how to release, free, liberate, let go of all the micro tensions that accumulate in any given day, so that those micro tensions don't keep building up in our system over days and weeks and months and years and start to cause or create imbalances in the body or mind. One or two more breaths here. And then you're going to slowly slide the belt off of the foot and point out through the toes and lower the leg down. Good. And then you'll bend the left knee and you'll hug the knees, thighs back into the chest. Now here, as you hug the knees, thighs in, hopefully feel a bit more balanced, right to left. You're going to place the hands lightly again on top of the knees and begin to circle your knees. So as you're circling your knees, you're rolling around in the back pelvis, the sacrum, the buttocks, and you're massaging the lower back. Again, when we're feeling stressed or we're in this element of air, we tend to be up in the head or up and out of the body. So we want to keep moving down and into the body. Let's go the other way. Circle 4 or 5 times in the opposite direction. You're rolling over the sacrum, the triangular bony mass, the base of your spine, and the gluteal muscles, the buttocks. Let's do one more circle. Good. Then you'll come back to center, feet to ground. We're going to do one more recline pose, then we're going to shift gears. So the arms are going to open out wide. Your knees are bent, feet are to the ground. First, we're going to do a knee drop. Drop your knees right and left, loosening and opening up the lower back. A little bit of rotation here. So twists can also be a bit warming, depending on the intention. Now, as you come back to center, a hip opening here. Again, another good posture to do if you find yourself sitting in a chair a lot of the time during the day. You're going to lift and cross your right ankle over your left thigh. There's external rotation in the hip. You're now going to lift your left foot up and slide your right hand through the window of your legs and then the left hand to the outer left thigh. So this is eye of the needle pose in the yoga practice. You're hugging your left knee thigh in as you're guiding the right knee thigh away. And you're softening the top line of the shoulders as you lengthen out through the neck, tucking the chin slightly. Now from here, you can stay still, following the depth of your breath, quieting, calming. Some of you may find it beneficial, again, if you're more activated, if you had some caffeine this morning or you're feeling like a lot of energy in the morning, you might feel better by moving a bit in the posture, right? So you can rock and roll a little side to side, left and right, while you keep opening up that outer right hip or thigh. So it's not better or worse, being still or moving. It's just whatever's going to help your nervous system calm and soothe, yeah, down regulate, which is what we're trying to do. Let's stay for one or two more deep, full-bellied breaths. And again, that sense of breathing right into the right hip socket where you're feeling the stretch most, presumably. And then you'll bring your left foot to the ground. You'll uncross the right ankle foot, bring the right foot to the ground. And then we're going to change sides. You're going to lift and cross your left ankle over your right thigh. So there is this triangular window of space between your legs. You're going to lift your right foot off the mat and slide your left arm hand through the window of the legs, hugging the right knee thigh in and guiding the left knee thigh away. And again, some of you might feel better holding the asana in stillness. Others of you might feel better by adding a little movement, rocking to the right or rocking to the left. The movement is slow, gentle, and it should feel good. Either way, whether you're holding in stillness or with that slight, slow rocking motion, your breath is deep and low in the lungs. Even though you're creating a mild amount of stress through the body by way of the stretch, your breath is communicating to your body that you're safe and relaxed. And so you're relaxing yourself in this moment while you're, in quotes, stressing the self by stretching out the tissue, your fascia, your muscles, even the fascia around the nerves. You'll come back to center for the last breath here in this posture. Hopefully you're feeling some relief in the outer left hip and into the lower back. And with your exhalation, you'll bring your right foot to the ground. You'll bring your left foot to the ground. And one more time, open the arms out to the side. Drop your knees right and left to integrate that bilateral or asymmetrical pose of working one leg and then the other. Now, as you drop your knees, thighs over to the left, you're going to turn to your left side and you're going to come up to hands and knees. So you might put that blanket now that was underneath your pelvis earlier, underneath your knee joints. We're coming into the cat pose. You can move the throw pillow or second blanket out of the way. And then you're lining up your wrists underneath your shoulders. You're spreading your fingers nice and wide. Your toes can be relaxed, tops of feet to ground, or you could tuck your toes under, whichever again feels more stable for you. Now we're going to do this, sometimes it's called cat-cow motion or just cat rolls. You think of a cat moving through its spine. With that Halloween just last weekend, it shouldn't be too hard to envision that Halloween cat rounding its back. You're going to tuck your tailbone, push the floor away, and tuck the chin. Round the spine. So this is a great stretch for the whole length of your spine, your back. And then on the inhalation, you start to lift the tailbone, lengthen your spine. The belly starts to hang down a little bit. It's not totally collapsed. Then the chest lifts as you push the floor away and the head lifts. And let's do a few more of these cat rolls, pressing the floor away, rounding the spine, tucking the chin. Big breath through the spine as you're moving. It doesn't have to be in a particular way. Just keep the breath flowing as you're moving. You want to feel that gentle extension and then that gentle flexion in your spine. So you're working all the joints along the length of your spine and you're spreading out the tissue, the lower back muscles, the wide flat muscles that run across the back, latissimus dorsi, trapezius, as well as the deeper muscles that run right along the vertebra. Last round here, rolling through your spine. And then we're going to come back into a little bit of core work here. This is called the sunbird pose. You're going to reach the left leg back and curl the left toes under and press your left heel. So again, you get that stretch into the lower body. Your awareness moves down into the lower body. Then you're going to bring attention to the center of your abdomen, your navel, and you're going to lift your left leg up parallel to ground, balancing. Now focus your eyes to a single point out in front of you. And then try to lift your right arm out in front of you and reach from your right fingertips to your left heel, hugging the belly in as you're lengthening through your limbs. You feel, again, a little bit of warmth generated here. Lower the right hand down, lower the left knee down, shift your weight a little side to side. And then we'll go the other way. We're going to stretch the right leg back, curl the right toes under, press through the right heel. Press down through the hands as well to lift your chest as you find that focal point with your eyes. After a gentle calf stretch, you're going to lift your right leg up parallel to ground, hug into your abdomen as you reach the left arm forward and balance between your right hand and your left knee. Your left arm is straight and strong. Your right leg is, again, firm and reaching back behind you. You're stretching as well as toning. On the exhalation, you're going to lower your left hand down, lower your right knee down, shift a little side to side. Now from here, two options for the next posture. One is to sit back into a child's pose, hips to heels, arms overhead. You might walk your arms and hands forward as you bring the forehead towards the mat. Second option is to go into downward facing dog pose. So from hands and knees, you're going to actually curl your 10 toes under, lift your knees up, push forward and down through your hands, and stretch the tailbone back and up. So you have this inverted V shape with your body. Breathing along the length of your spine. And then from here, if you're in child's pose, stay there for another couple of breaths, just softening, stretching, and opening the lower back, hips, and knees. If you're in downward facing dog, we're going to pedal our feet. So ground the left heel down as you lift the right knee up, bending the knee. Right heel up, bending the knee. Then you're going to bring the right heel down as you bend the left knee, the left heel rises. And so you're pedaling your feet side to side, bending the opposite knee. We're just going to do one or two more rounds. Good. And then the next time you ground your right heel down, you're going to try to lift both heels high and then walk your feet forward a little bit and then start to walk your hands back. We're coming into a standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Now, if you're in child's pose, you're going to press back up to cat pose. You're going to walk your hands back towards your knees. You're going to lift your knees and come into that standing forward bend as well. Now, as you're standing in this forward bend, you can either touch the earth if you can reach, or you can have your hands to your shin bones to steady yourself. You can also hold the opposite elbow with your hands and let the upper body hang down. You might bend your knees a little bit. This is a bigger stretch for your back now. We did stretch the hamstrings a little bit reclined. And now we're upright and hanging downward with the head, the neck, the shoulders, the arms, the hands. If you're holding the opposite elbow, change the cross of your forearms for the last couple of breaths here. Again, you can bend and straighten the legs a little bit. You might keep the knees bent as you let the head hang down. You might tuck the chin in a little bit here. And then slowly, you're going to let your arms and hands hang down. You're going to bend your knees. You can walk your hands up your legs, or you can just lift up with a straight spine, or you could roll up, coming all the way up to a standing pose. Once you come up to a standing pose, move the blanket that was on your knees off to the side of your mat, and you're going to turn your body. If you're using a yoga mat, if you're not, that's fine. You're going to turn so that you're stepping your legs wide. And if you're on carpet, it might be a little more slippery, so you just need to be careful. If you're on a wood floor, it should be a pretty good grip, or on your yoga mat. So from here, we're going to do a posture called the Sky Archer pose. You're going to turn your right foot out 90 degrees, and you're going to lift your arms up over your head. You're going to grab hold of your right wrist with your left hand, and you're going to pull that right arm up and slightly back. So you're arching back to the left as you keep the right leg straight, and you're pushing down through the front pad of your right foot as you reach back. Big full breath into the right sideways, opening up. Then on the exhale, you're going to open your arms wide, palms of the hands are facing down, and you're going to look out beyond your right fingers. So again, some of these standing poses can be helpful in the autumn season to warm the body as well as to bring grounding through the legs and feet, strength and stability there as well. From here, we're practicing Warrior Two pose. You're going to bend your right knee and bring your right knee over your ankle as your arms stay parallel to ground, palms of the hands down. You want to be sure not to lean forward here. Reaching with the right arm hand, you want to keep your spine rising straight up out of the pelvis. You're reaching equally back through the left arm as you're reaching forward through the right arm. Hold another full breath in and out. Then on your exhale, you'll bring your right elbow forearm to your right thigh and reach your left arm over your head and stretch to the left side waist. This is more about stretching the left side waist than it is about strengthening the right hip. Side angle pose. And then just let that left arm circle in front. As it swings back, you'll straighten the right leg and come up. Turn your right foot forward and turn your left foot out 90 degrees. So your toes are pointing towards the short end of the mat out in front of you. Same thing, Sky Archer pose. You're going to reach the arms up over the head, grab hold of your left wrist elbow forearm, and then stretch the arm up. So you might hold anywhere along that arm as long as you can get that big reach up through the arm. The left leg is straight. As you're arching back to the right, you're firming the left thigh and pushing forward and down through the left front pad of the foot. Another big breath into the left side waist. And then on your exhalation, you'll come back up through center, open the arms wide, palms of the hands down, and look out beyond your left fingers. You're slowly going to bend your left knee. You can always look down to find the knee and see that it's directly over the ankle. It's not further beyond that, right? And that your spine is rising straight up out of the pelvis. You're reaching back through the right arm as much as you're reaching forward through the left arm. You're hugging into the belly a little bit. You're curling the tailbone down slightly. The thighs are firming, so you're really feeling the work that's happening in the lower body. One more big breath across the chest, strengthening. And then on your exhalation, you'll bring your left elbow forearm to the left thigh and reach the right arm over your head. Again, think more about the stretch to the right side body rather than the strength that's happening also in that left hip. You're light on that left elbow, side angle pose. One more full breath in and out. Then you're going to circle that right arm down in front of you slowly, and then lift yourself back up. Turn the left toes forward. Now on your inhale, reach the arms out wide. Start to look up overhead, reaching up. Then on your exhale, you're going to look down at the floor again and bend from your hips. Let your arms slide out to the sides and down and bring your fingertips to the mat, to the ground. Just your fingertips. You can bend your knees a little bit if needed. And we're going to actually do the side lunge, right and left. So you're going to bend gently to the right, come up through center and bend gently to the left. And come up through center, bend gently to the right, up through center and to the left. Let's do one more, side to side. Good. As you bend gently to the right, you'll come back to center. You're going to ground down through the legs, and you're going to lift yourself back up. Once you come up, you're going to step your feet together at the front end of the mat. You're going to take your blanket and place it across the middle of your mat. So one of the practices for autumn and winter is a very slow, warming sun salutations, a very slow flowing motion, movement of asanas. So we're going to do that together, very gently, very slowly. And the blanket's there for your knees as you travel through the lunges. On your inhale, you're going to sweep the arms out and overhead. You'll look up slowly, gently. Big breath in. Again, imagine you're moving through oil, through golden rays of light. You're going to bow down towards the earth. Come back to that forward bending pose. You're going to look back behind you and take a step back with your right leg and bring your right knee down on that blanket. Once you do that, your fingertips are to the mat. You can readjust. You can lift the right knee and stretch it back further and move your pelvis forward and down. So now you're getting a stretch to the front of your right thigh. As you move the pelvis down, your eye gaze is down and the heart is softening. Now with your exhalation, you can curl the right toes under and you're going to press back into a cat pose. Then you're going to shift back into child's pose, hips to heels. So you're staying low to the ground, forehead towards the earth. Then you're going to come back up to cat. And just for a moment here, downward facing dog. Lift your knees, send the pelvis back and up, press forward and down, stretching the spine. Now we're going to step the right foot forward between the hands and bring your left knee to the blanket. Shift the pelvis forward and down, stretching the front of your left thigh a little more. Looking downward, the heart is moving forward and downward. Light on the fingertips again. And then slowly, this time you're going to lift your left knee up and you're going to step your left foot forward next to the right and bow down. Then you're going to lift yourself all the way up. You can sweep the arms out and overhead as you look up. And then the hands come down to the heart. We're going to do that same flow, but with the opposite leg leading. So we're going to inhale, reach the arms out and up. Big breath in. Exhale, dive forward and down. And this time you're going to step your left foot back first and bring your left knee to the mat or blanket. Light on the fingertips as you move your pelvis forward and down. You want to get the stretch to the front of your left thigh. Then you're going to shift your pelvis back and just step your right foot back, right knee back to cat. And stretch back into child's pose. Your 10 toes are curled under to stretch the feet. Again, bringing awareness all the way down to your toe tips. Inhale to rise back up to cat. Exhale to press back to downward facing dog. Lift the tail high. Big full breath in and out through your spine. And then slowly you're going to step your left foot forward now and bring your right knee down to the blanket and move your pelvis forward and down. Eye gaze is downward, heart is moving forward and down. Releasing the front of your right thigh. And then you'll lift the right knee up and you'll step the right foot forward, bowing down. And then you're going to lift yourself all the way up, reach the arms out and overhead. Big breath in as you look up. And exhale, hands to the heart. You're going to bring your feet together just right where you are, and you're going to place your hands above your knees, and you're going to circle your knees. There's a whole Ayurvedic practice called Dasha Chalana where we work through all the joints of the body. It's a wonderful practice for the autumn, so this is part of that. Let's go the other way 4 or 5 times. You're just bending the knees and circling, bending the knees and circling. As the joints get a little more stiff or cold with the cold weather, changing season, Might feel that crackle and pop in your joints. Then you're going to slowly come up to standing. You're going to move the blanket out of the way again to the side of your mat. We're going to make our way back down to the mat now and head towards the guided relaxation a few poses before then. So from a standing pose at the front of the mat or wherever you are, you're going to reach your arms up, looking up, big breath in. And then you're going to dive forward and down, easy bend from the hips. Now, as you come down, you want to bend your knees, bring your hands to the mat, and step back to a straight line push-up position just for a moment. Then you're going to bring your knees down and come all the way down onto your belly. One of the postures that I teach in almost every class is this posture of the locust. It looks like a boat. Sometimes it's called a boat pose in other lineages of yoga. You're going to point your arms and hands back. You're going to actually energize your arms and your legs. So again, a little bit of heat, fire in the belly to practice this posture and to warm the spine. You're going to lift your chest and head up and then lift your arms up. You want to feel the work in your abdomen and your spine to help you do that. Then you're going to slowly come back down. Now we're going to do that again, but lift the legs as well here. So lift the chest, the head, the arms. Lift your legs up as you reach your fingertips back towards your ankles, your heels. They're moving in that direction so your shoulders don't rise up. Let's hold for another breath into the lungs. And then exhale, come down. Once you come down, you're going to turn onto your back again. Slowly rolling onto your back. You're going to practice bridge pose. So as you come onto your back, you're lying flat on your back. You might lift and adjust the head again to lengthen the back of the neck, and your arms come down by your side, palms down. So again, back bending, a little bit of gentle back bending in the autumn and winter season can be helpful to warm the spine, to warm the core, and to also stoke our metabolism a little bit because things start to slow down in those colder months. So you push forward and down through your feet. You're going to engage your hips. You're going to lift the lower back, middle back. Maybe some of you will come up to the upper back, pushing through the arms, the hands, lifting the chest towards the chin. Keep your knees in line with your hips. And then exhale to come down. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, push forward and down through your feet. And then lift your lower back, middle back, maybe upper back as you roll up towards the shoulders. Feel the muscles squeeze in to help you lift. The chest is lifting towards the chin. And then coming down. Now this last round, you'll hold for an extra breath at the top of the lift. Push forward and down through your feet. Lift your lower, middle, upper back, rolling towards the shoulders. Slight tuck of the chin as the chest rises towards the chin. Inhaling deeply to the lungs. See, feel, sense the lungs expand, the rib cage expand. On your exhalation, slowly come back down. And then open your arms out to the sides again. Drop your knees right and left. So this is a really simple movement to do between poses to integrate. And then you're going to bring that blanket that was under your knees earlier, underneath your pelvis. You're going to put it underneath your head, or you could use your throw pillow that you started with if you had one. We're going to close with 2 postures before guided relaxation. You're going to open your arms out to the side, and we're going to come into recline twist. So again, another wonderful posture for the autumn and winter season, our recline twists. To stoke the fire of the abdomen, to keep our digestion strong, to keep our spine limber. You're going to move your hips over to the right side of your mat. Your feet can follow. Then you're going to lift and cross your right thigh over your left. So you're just crossing your legs. Then you're going to let your knees drop to the left, and you're going to turn your head back to the right. So you're twisting through the cervical spine, the neck, and you're twisting through the middle spine as you keep both shoulders on the mat, as you're reaching out through the arms and hands. And then you're breathing up and down the spine. So we're going to stay just for 3 more breaths here. As you inhale, you're stretching the breath as you did at the beginning of the practice. As you stretch the lungs, you're stretching the ribs. As you stretch the ribs, you're affecting the joints of the spine where the ribs come in to meet the vertebra behind you. In each exhalation, relaxing the muscles along your spine, nourishing the muscles along your spine with that process of letting go of the subtle microtension. that we all accumulate in our life, and especially close to the spine. So with your next exhalation, you're going to look up to the ceiling, realign your head and neck, then lift your knees, thighs, push through your left foot to realign your hips. Uncross your legs for a moment. Then you're going to move your hips to the left side of your mat, let your feet follow. Cross your left thigh over your right and lift and turn onto your outer right hip as your knees fall to the right. Keep your left shoulder on the mat as you turn and look over your left shoulder, twisting here. Again, one side could feel more or less sensation. One side of our body tends to hold more tension than another. We hold tension in different parts or places through the right and left side. So we get to know about that. We learn about ourselves through the yoga practice and how to bring balance in the everyday moments of our lives from that learning. We'll stay for 3 more breaths. And again, expanding your inhale and lengthening your exhale. Softening, letting the body be heavy, practicing letting go with each exhale. As you follow your next exhalation, you're going to slowly start to lift your knees, thighs, push down through your right foot, realign, uncross your legs, both feet to ground. Then you'll bring your knees into your chest. This is a common posture we've done throughout the class today. You can hug your knees in. You could let the knees float away a little bit. You're actually realigning, neutralizing your spine after that twist. And then you're going to reach for that belt strap tie, which we had earlier, and put it around both feet. Then straighten both legs up into the sky. You're reaching high or low on the belt. You can pull down on the belt to ground the back pelvis. As you pull down on the belt, hopefully you're feeling a widening across the back pelvis, a grounding of the sacrum into the mat. At the same time, you're reaching your heels up. That opens up the backs of the legs. You're spreading your 10 toes. You're softening through the front of your thighs. And then the breath is deepening into the lower middle lungs. The belly rising with the inhale. So we go back to connecting with the lower part of the body, the abdomen, the pelvis, the lower back, the sacrum, the hip joints, and then through the legs and feet. We'll stay for 2 or 3 more breaths here, keeping the shoulder blades grounded as well, emptying the body of tension, excess worry, the anxiety that comes from projecting into the future or living in the past. The breath allows us to arrive here and now in this moment with ourselves and all that is here. With your exhale, you're going to slide the belt off the feet. You're going to keep your arms and legs in the air and just give them a little shake. So we know now that shaking can be really helpful for discharging stress, tensions in the body. Kids do it, animals do it, adult humans forget to do it, right? So we're going to shake out the limbs a little bit here. And then again, bring the knees to the chest. And we're going to come into a few moments of rest. Your feet can come to the ground again, knees bent with hands to belly. So going back to constructive rest, if that feels better for you. Maybe you want to take an extra blanket and cover yourself. Maybe you just want to stretch your legs out on the mat, arms by your side, palms up, the posture of Shavasana, which is the corpse pose. This process of practicing non-attachment to the body, practicing the art, the skill of letting go with the natural world reflects to us all the time. The natural world being a mirror to our own human body. And so once you settle into a posture of rest, whatever that looks like for you in this moment. Softening your eyes. If you're not closing the eyes, they're just slightly hooded, or you're closing the eyes completely to let the eyes rest. And you bring your attention down to the soles of your feet, relaxing your toes, relaxing your feet, relaxing the ankles and the calves, relaxing your knees and your thighs, relaxing your hip joints and your buttocks, the inner groins and the pelvic floor relaxed, the legs and the feet heavy on the earth, soft and relaxed, relaxing your abdomen, your digestive organs, relaxing your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, relaxing your shoulder blades, relaxing your chest, your lungs, your heart, relaxing your shoulder joints, your upper arms and elbows relaxed, relaxing the forearms, wrists, and hands. Arms are heavy on the earth, relaxed. Relaxing your neck, throat, jaw, mouth. Relaxing the cheeks and the nose, the eyes and the ears. Relaxing the skin across your forehead, the cranium, the brain stem, the spinal cord, whole of your nervous system relaxed. Muscles relaxed, bones relaxed, fascia relaxed, the whole of your body relaxed. The mind relaxed. The breath soft, almost imperceptible, relaxed. Just letting yourself rest here now for a few moments of silence, receiving and integrating the benefit of the practice. As you're resting here, I'll share a poem by Mary Oliver entitled Song for Autumn. Don't you imagine the leaves dream now? How comfortable it will be to touch the earth instead of the nothingness of the air and the endless freshets of wind. And don't you think the trees, especially those with mossy hollows, are beginning to look for the fires that will come, 6, a dozen, to sleep inside their bodies? And don't you hear the goldenrod whispering goodbye, the everlasting being crowned with the first tuffets of snow? The pond stiffens, and the white field over which the fox runs so quickly brings out its long blue shadows. The wind wags its many tails, and in the evening, the piled firewood shifts a little, longing to be on its way. With all of those beautiful images of autumn, you may envision again an image of autumn that brings a sense of presence or reflection of beauty or inspiration or upliftment or connection to yourself, to this world. The metaphors of the season and how we embody them. And perhaps any intention you wish to hold for yourself as you transition through the rest of the fall season and towards winter. Any self-nourishment practice that comes to mind straight from the heart that you want to incorporate in your days to help bring balance and support and care. As you let that be known to you and sealed in the heart with good intentions, you may stretch your arms now over your head. You may stretch down and out through the legs and lengthen through your spine. And then with a long exhale, you'll roll off to your right side and slowly rise to a seat of meditation, perhaps sitting on that blanket or pillow. Your hands may rest easily in the lap, or you may join the hands together as we do in the yoga practice, what's called Anjali Mudra, and joining the right and left palms together in front of the heart. This remembrance of the unity that dwells in the heart of all beings, and the remembrance of the light that you carry in your own life and as a gift to others out in the world. As you tuck your chin down towards your heart, you bow to that which you carry as a gift to others, that which you carry as a source of nourishment for yourself. A deep bow of respect and gratitude. I thank you all for taking time out of your day today to join me in practice. And I thank Carrie for inviting me here. You have a beautiful rest of your day. Wonderful rest of your Thursday.
Thank you so much, Melissa. That was wonderful. I hope that was a treat and something that allowed you to find a little more nourishment, some things that you can take into your days as well. And we hope you have a great day. You're welcome to join us next week at 11 o'clock, and we'll go through some other tips for stress. Thanks again, Melissa.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you all.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.